Welcome back to another episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk, where we just talk about Star Wars in our best attempt of chronological order, but we go out of order a lot.
You know what happens in the order it happens. I do not.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had an interesting conversation before the show started, but we don't need to rehash any of that.
Oh, yeah. We talked a little bit about the Force and how the Force works and doesn't work and what happens if the Force died and how that would kill so many people, but also not.
Yeah. But in this week, we're going to cover the Kenobi trailer.
Yep.
And we're
because that came out.
Yep. And we're also going to go over and review. God, I always forget the title of the
Mission
book.
to Disaster.
Mission to Disaster by Justina Ireland.
Yep. And
where once again the Nihil are fucking around because the Nihil love to fuck around.
Yeah. So
sadly, no comeuppance for this one.
Yeah. So I guess we should jump into the Kenobi stuff.
Yep.
So Disney had their shareholders meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I think this was probably the worst Investors Day we've had in a while, because I feel like they didn't show off as much as they usually show during these things. Like, I think Kenobi was basically the only actual trailer, like actual by itself trailer we got. Like, we got, the little, here's all the stuff, but like nothing that was like specifically oriented towards one project. They talked about Andor, but didn't really show like actual footage, which is fine because that's gonna be later the year. So we got Kenobi trailer though, which is something everybody's been waiting for, and in fact, I know our guest from last week, she's gonna be streaming tonight, or today, later tonight. And she's going to be discussing it, and they're going to create some. I've been seeing people make bingo sheets of like stuff that they think might happen. I know some people that are believers of the Corky Kenobi theory, and so that's probably going to be on some of their sheets. And a few other things. So like maybe we'll talk more after the trailer. Let's. So we're gonna watch the trailer together.
Yeah.
We're playing with some new toys here.
I got a little spoiled.
Yeah, so am I. I've seen it. I've only seen it once, so I haven't done the watch it over and over yet to look for stuff yet.
Frame by frame.
Yeah, I haven't quite done that yet. So we're just gonna watch the trailer together. Let me turn it up. And then Oh, we got subtitles.
Yep. Yeah.
People think he might be talking to Qui-Gon then. Look at baby Luke! Or child Luke, rather. But yeah, child Luke. Yeah! We got our... Let me make sure we're not killing the... There we go.
Just patience.
Yeah, there we go. Make sure we're over it. There we go.
Jedi cannot help what they are.
It's the Inquisitors. It's a new Inquisitor, too.
Oh, boy.
And Uncle Owen. And that's a new planet. New Inquisitor. So a couple new Inquisitors. Oh, the Grand Inquisitor. And fifth brother. So there was a lot. God. May 25th. Oh, man.
To look forward to.
Yeah, there is. Let me go ahead and hide that now. Hey, welcome to the show. You got thoughts?
Yeah.
I'm going to crash. Okay. We didn't have a guess. Oh.
Legos.
Yeah, no. We're talking about Kenobi.
I know. I heard the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I just couldn't crash for a minute.
Yeah. Decided to play with a new feature of showing the trailer live with us.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Scotty. This is my studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a nice man that lets us record
Yeah.
here.
He's also got connections with the Force.
I do have connections with the Force.
Oh.
So yeah, they showed that trailer at the investors meeting. The only trailer, like I said before, it's the only full trailer we got at the investors meeting. Not the best investors meeting I thought this year.
Where's Justine's mic?
We put it over there. Yeah,
Okay.
here.
Do you want me
Yeah,
to-
we'll swap.
Okay.
Is this
Here.
Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, all of them are on.
All right, cool. See, we'll just do that. Hi, we have another show. You should come watch My Star Wars Life on Mobcast Network.
Oh yeah, I advertise. I advertise at the end. Don't worry. Yeah, get that. Yeah, but get that plug.
I like how we just pull out micro. How many? Do you know how many people watch this?
There we go.
Currently, I'm not sure because for some reason
Gotcha.
my number feeds are not showing up.
I got you.
OBS has been doing updates and then like magically making settings that I have disappear.
No one cares about the technical stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, so
I just
that was a
crashed the
lot.
show. I can't believe I
Yeah.
just crashed the show.
there was a lot to unpack. Obviously, people think that Qui-Gon's going to show up, which is more than likely, or his ghost rather. They think that conversation he's having, where he's talking about we failed, that he's talking to Qui-Gon during
He's definitely not talking to Luke.
that. Nope. Yeah, he's just watching Luke from the distance
Talk to the 7-year-old kid. We lost.
I think he's
10. He's 10.
Yeah,
He's 10 years after.
He's 10.
He's 10 years after.
Okay, so then that was
three.
because that was a question some people had. I was trying to figure out the timeline because they were asking. A lot of people I know have been doing bingo cards for this show, so they're deciding things that they want to see.
Please find one and print that because we need that for our show.
Yeah, I'll print a few out because
we need that for our show.
and so they were asking about Kanan showing up, and I was trying to figure out this would be during his smuggler days.
Yeah,
or-
this is him and Hera. This should be around A New Dawn.
Yeah, like a little bit after, if not a little bit before.
No, let's see. Yeah, this is around New Dawn
Yeah. Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
because
Yeah.
they're teenagers in New Dawn.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that makes sense. So he could show up in theory. But I don't know why because they only have so many episodes. This is even less than Boba Fett was.
6, right?
I want to say 5 or 6. Yeah.
I think it's 6.
So
Yeah, because Boba Fett was only 8.
it was 7.
Yeah, Fett was 7.
Yeah.
Mm.
Usually it's 8. Usually that's how they were doing Mando, and then they were like, nah, 7 for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I think it could have used at least one more episode.
There were like 5 for Boba Fett because 2 are Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah.
You wanna
Yeah.
Yeah.
hear my thoughts about that? That's
Yeah.
on the other show.
Yeah, that's for Mando Mondays. But there's a lot, and the Inquisitor. So the big thing that the internet has taken away is why is the Inquisitor's head not tall? Because practical effects
Okay, so
and stunt work. Because they did the same thing with Ahsoka's.
all right. So I'm going to call BS, and I like the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the show. I have 2 problems.
Okay.
The Inquisitor is all wrong. The Grand Inquisitor is all wrong, and the Fifth Brother is all wrong. The Fifth Brother looks like his prescription of prednisone's been up too much. He needs to lower that dose because his face is real chunky. And I was just like, buddy, just lower that prednisone because you got to get that steroid down. You got to flatten that face. All right, so episode 3 is where we get the Umbarans.
The
Utapauans.
Utapauans.
Yeah, Utapauans. I knew it started with a U.
And while
And that dude,
we've only seen the but he also isn't doing he's not doing spins or stunt work that.
Sure. This is Lucasfilm.
But we've noticed that their Disney Plus TV projects, while they have a higher budget than normal TV, it's still less than
This is
movie.
This is Disney, and this is Lucasfilm, and there is no reason why they shouldn't be able to do the impossible.
But by that logic, they should have.
They make the impossible possible.
But that same energy, I don't think, was put into it. So, like,
I agree.
You did not make the same argument for her.
I was more forgiving with her shorter head tails. I was less forgiving, if you remember, about the weird wrinkle that made it look like it was a prop.
Oh yeah,
in her head.
yeah.
They can do better. and I think they just got lazy and didn't do better.
I don't
His
know.
head is wrong.
I don't know.
I mean, it's wrong.
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that they did test attempts.
But this is also the company that gave us, and don't get me wrong, in Mandalorian season 2, the finale, we were excited to look at Luke. Luke doesn't look great. He looks a lot better now.
Yeah.
So you can do it. You can do it. They just don't. They think they're going to be like, oh, no one will care. And it's like, Star Wars fans are the most nitpicky people on the planet. Of course they're going to care.
And also, on the other hand, you could make the argument that because Rebels was a cartoon and it's stylized, that maybe this is just what the Grand Inquisitor always looked like.
God, he looked dumb with a flat head. The flat head is weird.
It'll
take a lot to get used to.
I kind of wish that they had just cast,
Jason Isaacs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love them to cast Jason Isaacs. I wonder if he was offered.
He might be busy for all.
That's true, but
Yeah.
I'm curious if he
I
was
wonder,
offered.
yeah. Because his schedule probably didn't fit. That's probably what.
Have you watched Rebels yet?
Bits and pieces.
Because I know you're kind of on
He's bits and pieces.
you're on the Star Wars journey somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
I gotta walk through. I haven't seen everything. I know a little from here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I was busy
Yeah,
in
'cause
high
I've-
school at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
And I've shown you World Between Worlds episode,
Yeah.
and that's about
So for me, Rebels is what brought me back to Star Wars. There was a point in my life where I had thought I had outgrown Star Wars. Star Wars was a big part of my childhood. It's a big, I met a lot of my friends through Star Wars. Star Wars was important, but as I got older, it was just like that was a nice thing. They're fun movies, but it's not like how I want to attach my identity.
It
Yeah.
fades.
And then I'm in college, and when you're in college, there's not a lot of money and a lot of
Yeah.
but I had access to Disney XD thanks to a friend, and watched Rebels as it was coming. So I started from the pilot episode. I watched every episode, and be 100% honest, the pilot episode nearly lost me because it's the Adventures of Space Aladdin, and I was like, this is what Disney's going to do. They're just going to we're going to get a Space Little Mermaid, we're going to get a Space Lady and the Tramp. It's going to be just all it's going to be. And it turned out to be so much more, so much magic. It took 3 episodes. Because the second episode in Rebels is like, hey, do you remember these guys? And it's got 3PO and R2 in it. I was like, oh, they're just going to put nostalgia. It's not going to be great. And then the third episode is the characters actually have to work together and become friends.
Yeah, that's the TIE Fighter episode.
They steal the TIE Fighter. And it's funny as all get out.
And then you learn about you learn the relationship.
You learn everybody's relationship, and they kind of melt. And then you realize, oh, this is Firefly. I love Firefly. This will be great. And so I describe Rebels as when I was a kid, this is what we played in the backyard after seeing Star Wars movies. This is what we were playing in the backyard. And I think Dave Filoni has that same feel. And that's why it makes it work. So I'm a little more protective of when Rebels things show up in live action because I'm such a fan. And I know I'm critical about that because I'm so close to it. They could make it even a little bit. The point's just not right. It's just off. And I'm like, Lucasfilm and Weta are the two experts in this, and so somebody should be able to make this work. And
maybe, I'm willing to see how it plays out. Before
we are 6 weeks or so,
something like that
before that. So, and there's still time to fix some of this stuff, a la what happened for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog had a whole year, but
we're about 6 in a few days.
Yeah, so 6 weeks. Yeah.
So there's time. I mean, if they want to, like I said, I'm willing to see how it plays out.
But even if it doesn't, 2 minor things, I'll just cringe and I'll complain about it. But other than that, it's good.
And then I'm interested to see this new Inquisitor Reva.
So the third sister.
Yeah, third sister. That's which is the one that, from what what Lucasfilm has been saying, is the one that's mainly hunting Obi-Wan.
Right, and it's good. Everyone kept thinking it might have been like the second sister, and they're like, no, that's a different one.
And then there's that new one that also we don't see too much of.
Right.
People think that she's a Tothalothian.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. the Adigalia's race.
Yeah.
I will reserve my judgments for the show for when it comes out.
Look at
him. I assume we're going to do this.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing we did with Boba Fett.
I will take the story as a whole and save my.
Oh, so you can watch it.
judgments
You're gonna make him
until
watch it
then.
all at one time.
Yep.
God, you're a monster.
And however, I will say this: I think one of
Well,
the like,
it works because it's kind of like watching a longer movie.
I got you. I feel
I
you.
will say, I think what one of the lessons that Obi-Wan is going to learn, apart from like Force Ghost
Yeah.
stuff, is this really hard lesson. When you are in hiding from a governmental body that knows you have a predisposition for helping people, you're gonna need to learn to not do that, and that is hard to let shit slide.
I think also he's learning a second lesson though, because at least from what Ewan has talked about, is that this is a crisis of faith that Obi-Wan's in
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah, that would probably
And
also happen
so we're-
after having stabbed your brother, removed all his arms, and left him to die on a shit planet.
Yeah, and then finding out that he still somehow survived because
Yeah.
now he's after you.
And also having, not to mention the Inquisitors.
Yeah, because from what I understand, from what they've mentioned, is this is going to be his crisis of faith
Yeah.
series where he's trying to resolve the fact that all of this terrible stuff happened
Yeah.
while still trying to come back to believing in the Force again.
So, are you guys on Twitter?
No.
I am, but not actively.
All right, I'm active on Twitter. Twitter's like my favorite social media.
Mhm.
Twitter's where I allow myself to be myself. So I love Twitter. And I'm on the other ones too, but mostly for advertising
Mhm.
for the various projects I have. But
Yeah.
Twitter's kind of where I get to play.
Yeah.
Do you know the two best tweets that came out of this Obi-Wan announcement were?
No.
First of all, it was the official Obi-Wan Twitter page.
Mhm.
So do you know what the first tweet was?
No.
Hello there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I heard about that.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like this, you could not have a better opening tweet.
No.
The best one, but my favorite tweet was Sam Witwer's, who plays Maul
In the
in
Clone
anime-
Wars and
in
Rebels.
he's voicing Maul, and he said, "You ever had that guy who was rude to you get a promotion? Please respect my wishes." So he's like, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, poor Sam.
Once again, though, I hope. While I
Nothing
love,
could be ruder than being fucking cut.
yeah. Once again, while I love the character of Maul, please do not appear in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I want Maul. I like Maul more than I like Vader.
Well, also I don't want Maul only because it takes place 10 years before,
So
or 5 years. It's
so-
5 years before.
But I went back and rewatched Twin Sons like the other day.
Yeah.
The other day being yesterday.
But the
'cause
timeline doesn't fit now anymore.
No,
if they
it-
bring him.
No, it does fit.
No.
He doesn't have to fight him on Tatooine. Maul is searching for him, but Maul doesn't. We don't know when the last time Maul has seen Obi-Wan. So
Yeah.
we are led to believe that it's Clone Wars era. But now we've got this whole new timeline going
Yeah.
on, so it can be any time in the.
And I guess there is that new planet that's
Right, so
kind
that-
of Blade
yeah,
Runner
right,
mixed with
right.
Narshada.
And right,
I just assumed no, because it's not that planet. It's too bright.
Which one?
What the?
Oh, you assumed it was Coruscant?
I assumed it was either Coruscant.
No,
or
no,
one
it's a
of-
brand new planet.
It's got to be in the inner rim,
it's very
right?
Let me pop
it's,
her up
it's
while we
very,
discuss it.
Blade Runner-esque, but it's
Yeah.
very like they
Yeah, it's
in the Entertainment Weekly article they compared it to like Hong Kong,
yeah.
and so
Let me
But-
add Star Wars to the front of that because otherwise it will think I'm talking about the character.
I have right.
Let's see the new planet name because I know it's a new planet because
Yeah.
I've heard that.
So it was in the Entertainment Weekly article. Because again, the reason I say all bets are off because if Vader's going to fight Obi-Wan in this, we get the because we all assume that
Dayu,
we assume that in a New Hope that
the last fight was Mustafar, but
Mustafar,
but that can't quite work. And also, it kind of fixes a unintentional error in Return of the Jedi, where Vader says that Obi-Wan once thought as Luke did. Obi-Wan in Episode 3 did not think that Anakin had a chance of being redeemed.
Right. So there's that. There's also fixes a plot hole in 4 that kind of built up out of all this. He's more machine than man. Then how does Obi-Wan know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Obi-Wan doesn't know. Obi-Wan shouldn't know what Vader is. I mean, Ahsoka figures it out.
Yeah.
Like it takes her a little bit, but she does it. She'll figure it out. She doesn't know now. She'll
Yeah.
figure out for
Do we think the fight will be
6 years
on?
from now, 4 years ago.
So, in order for him to figure out this information, could the fight be on at Fortress Vader?
Oh, you think go back to Mustafar to fight?
We know that Fortress Vader is in the show, and
Right.
we know that the Fortress Inquisitorius is in the show,
Right.
which are like in the same system.
Man, Kayla, we need our own fortresses. I want a fortress so bad. I'm gonna pitch this on the next episode of our show. Fortress my Star Wars life.
Yeah, that'll
If
be
I
good.
have to go through some
Fortress
trap
Mobcast.
bullshit
For-
to talk
Fortress
to you, I'm
Mobcast.
gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, well, you also have yet to read the Tales from Vader's Castle series.
True.
Which, oh boy, those people are dumb. They go to that fortress like 5 times.
going back there. This seems like a bad idea.
Can I tangent?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the comic.
Yeah.
Did you see the German Rebels comics are coming out?
Fine. Yeah. I shared that in our group chat because I
Yeah,
was
right.
because I was
I pre-ordered it.
yeah. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
I pre-ordered. So
Because
when I'm done reading, you
because
can read it.
originally it was in UK,
Right.
and that was where the magazine started, and I read all of that one.
It's
And
all
then they only did then they started only being in German,
Right.
And so I was like, well, I can't read all, and then I stopped being able to find them,
right.
And so I was just like, I give up, and then I got mad because I was like, why are we not?
It's like 500 pages. Dark Horse is putting it out,
yeah.
and so
I'm glad that that's kind of one of their first projects. I hope they do some
on
original
Amazon,
content too.
on Amazon now for $26.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
then
not a bad price
and then what else is
for 50 pages of Rebels content.
Yeah.
I mean, 500
Yeah.
pages of Rebels
original content too?
Yeah.
Because it's not adaptations of anything like the manga, which I have the first volume of,
content. Oh, you need to bring it because I want to see it because I'm
Or-
debating about getting it.
or second volume. I've got the second volume.
I still want to see it.
It's an adaptation, but it's a loose adaptation. So
Well, it's like have you do you have or seen the original Star Wars mangas?
I have not.
Oh yeah, they did all 3 movies.
Yeah, I knew about them. I've never read
and
them.
like the lightsaber fights are way more cooler.
So I have a question to the two of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the one being chased by that Inquisitor in that little
Well-
snippet?
And when they're on top of the city and they're shooting blasters,
No. I think
because there's that part.
'cause
There
there's
is that.
two of 'em.
Yeah, there's a couple chases that are in that
Yeah,
trailer.
and that
There's
does
one-
narrow it down.
There's one on Dayu where somebody's shooting a blaster, which might be Obi-Wan trying to avoid using his lightsaber.
I thought it was Obi-Wan.
They aren't shooting back in this one. It just looks like they're running, and the Inquisitor jumps him.
Oh, it's probably just Obi-Wan then.
Because Obi-Wan
I-
doesn't use blasters; they're uncivilized.
I assume
Unless he needs to kill a Grievous.
it's either Obi-Wan or Owen, but that doesn't make
Owen,
sense. 'cause
Owen,
why would
Owen's staying.
leave?
Owen's staying on Tatooine. Owen is not. That is my biggest thing. Owen is not leaving Tatooine.
So
Because if Obi-Wan's leaving Tatooine, Owen is not.
So my biggest complaint, my biggest 2 worries, well, complaints, but my biggest 2 worries before I saw this trailer, when this show was announced.
Mhm.
First of all, I was like, I don't want an Obi-Wan show because an Obi-Wan show would be just him creepily watching a boy.
Yeah, like I
And
wanted.
they showed a scene of him creepily watching
Yeah.
a boy, and I laughed. I was like, I won that. But if you've not seen the memes that go along with that, just feel there's now all kinds of memes of different things that Obi-Wan is looking at. It's great. And then I was like, well, he can't leave Tatooine because he's protecting.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Luke,
like, why would
how-
he leave?
However, I don't know if you brought this up in the group chat, but somebody brought it in the group chat. I think it was a group chat.
Yeah,
I
it
think
wasn't me.
But it was like, well, to protect Luke to lure them off the planet.
That's
Okay,
and that's
I'm-
a discussion that I've seen.
And
on-
I'm like, okay,
well.
now you've got me.
because the Inquisitors are already sniffing around,
Right.
and what if they happen to sniff? Oh, this kid is force sensitive. Let's bring him
Right.
back, because that's also the Inquisitor's job.
Right.
Is not only to exterminate Jedi, but also locate other
Because he'd be
force
like this-
sensitives.
We found a Skywalker kid at this moisture farm. Vader's like, which moisture farm?
yeah. Found the Skywalker kid force sensitive.
There's a grave with your mom there. Look. He said something there. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man. That.
okay, I could see that working.
Yeah, and so Owen, while in episode 4, he does not get the best, because we're watching episode 4 from Luke's perspective.
Yeah.
Owen does not get the best, like, we don't see him in the best picture. In reality, Owen is a great father figure.
He
I don't think he exists anymore. He died the same as your father. You knew
Like-
my father. Drop it, boy.
Yeah, your father was a drug runner,
uh,
because he says he's a spice. He was a spice pilot,
No, he
I
was,
don't
he
recall
was
that.
on a cargo ship.
cargo ship, but they
Yeah,
mentioned spice.
No, they don't mention
Nope.
spice for that.
No,
none of that.
Mm,
he just
That
watched.
is
I've
some
heard somebody.
weird
I've
shit.
heard somebody reference
They
that.
don't talk about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Do not fucking say it. damn
well, they
thing
they
about.
they mentioned that he's a pilot. That's
They
it.
mentioned that.
No, they,
about
say,
it.
they don't mention he's a pilot.
They say
he's
nothing
on-
else after
I think
that.
they say he's on a cargo ship. He died on a cargo
They
ship.
mentioned he's a pilot because that's why Luke wants to be a pilot.
I think he says he wants to be a pilot because I don't know.
He wants to go to that flight
Yeah,
academy.
he wants to be
get
he
good
wants to be an
and
imperial.
join up
Yeah,
with.
maybe the Empire pays for college.
I think they actually might, which is strange.
Actually, no, they don't because the Imperial Academy is your college. That is your education. Because that's what the same education Sabine had, same education Wedge had,
Hobby.
or in Hobby. Yeah,
Because, you know, if you're going to mention Wedge, you got to mention Hobby.
yeah.
Because they're in the same
And-
letters. Why I mentioned.
And Biggs for like a hot minute was like, nah.
No, he graduated because he's on the Okay, in Legends.
In Legends, he graduates.
Yeah, we can grade because he's on the.
As far as we know in canon, he just I think he
Eclipse is what the ship's
Yeah.
he's on, or he because his in Legends he and his training staff like mutinied and took over a ship, and that's how they joined the rebellion.
yeah. But I think in canon, as far as we know, he kind of just is there in episode 4. Like at the end, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm part of the rebels."
How do you think? How do you view deleted scenes?
I view them as canon if they're in the novelizations, which they are.
Okay, I'm just curious. It's just a weird.
It's the same. It's the same thing because I think, especially
because I understand why it was cut, but I like the scene where Biggs is on Tatooine talking to Luke and them.
like an imp. I was trying to read that comment. But yeah, like the. Oh, you're checking that scene.
Yeah, you talk it off.
But like one of the best deleted, like all of the best deleted scenes in the prequels are in the Revenge of the Sith novelization.
Mm.
And like the Revenge of the Sith novelization is great. If you have not read it, so as far as we know, the movie novelizations are not officially canon, except for the new movies novelizations, which is why I believe that deleted scenes count because in those the deleted scenes are there. And so like some of the best scenes include Padme like helping create the the actual rebellion, like in the early stages, along with Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, and it's in deleted scenes for Revenge of the Sith. Because basically they're starting to see the end of they're starting to see the ends of the Republic,
Yeah.
but they don't like out loud say, "Hey, this is a rebellion." They're like, "Hey,
Maybe
Palpatine."
don't openly
No.
advertise the fact that you're going to try to rebel.
No, it's more of like, "Hey, we're noticing that Palpatine is being really sketchy as the Supreme Chancellor. We should probably keep an eye out on that, and let's form our own little group of trusted like senators that we know are all in agreement that hey, the democracy works if we do it right."
All right, so you are right. He is a navigator on a spice freighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Luke says that to Obi-Wan.
Okay. So yeah.
Well, I guess I was wrong.
I was too.
So yeah, he's a drug runner.
I forgot this.
God.
His dad was part of the drugs.
Unless it's a different spice. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it's like medicinal. Medicinal.
Yeah. Medicinal spice. Maybe medicinal spice exists.
Right. You know, it was like it was basically a cargo run of ibuprofen.
Yeah, I know Star Wars Explained was trying to justify it. He
He
was
just
like,
makes it so casual to make it seem like it was. You know, if it was the drugs, I think Luke would have been like, he was a drug runner.
yeah, he was my dad was part of the drugs.
But then
Also, if that's the case, if you know your dad was part of the drug run community and you want to be like your dad, just go visit Jabba. There you go. Easy job. You don't even have to leave planet.
Is that a new issue of Star Wars Insider?
Yeah, that's this month's.
I didn't know they still made Star Wars Insider.
Yeah, I get them for the short stories.
Oh,
and
good.
that's what we're going to talk about next week.
And the only reason why I noticed that is because it says interview with Emily Swallow, and I'm like, that's new.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
New.
As a Star Wars expert, I should know these things.
Yeah.
I learn something every day.
Yeah. Yeah, they I think it switched publishers to Titan because originally it wasn't Titan, and now it's Titan that does the publishing.
Cool.
But ultimately, once again, I don't know a lot. Okay.
Yeah, so you're just here for the ride.
I'll see what happens, and whatever happens.
Yeah,
And I'll puzzle out how I feel about it.
yeah. Really, the bingo card stuff is for people like us and other fans that have been like, wanting certain things. So like obviously I have friends that put Corky Kenobi on their bingo card because they believe in the Corky
Is
Kenobi
that-
theory.
What is the
I
Cor-
could
what
use
is-
an explanation on that.
Corky from Clone Wars.
okay?
The theory is that he is actually Obi-Wan and Satine's love child. Which I don't know. Which I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel terrible. I'm gonna be a little nauseous. That's how I feel.
I'm going to admit I don't think so.
I do hope though we do see or at least hear talk of Satine. I want to at least see a flashback of Satine, or at least they mention her, because Obi-Wan I feel like would be this would be his time of reminiscing on the past.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, here's all the tragedies in my life. How am I gonna deal with this?
Yeah, a lot of PTSD.
The problem is that while the shows tend to highlight things from different other shows, they don't dwell on big enough for like you have to watch it.
No.
to get it.
So
So trying to show a flashback of Satine.
a flashback might work better only because then you don't have to watch Clone Wars, because then they could just go, here's what happened.
Right, but that would just take up time. So you've got 6 episodes to
Yeah.
show more Mandalorian.
Once again, yeah, we only have
and
6
Grogu.
episodes.
What are we cutting out? Is the question.
Yeah.
We have to put Mandalorian and
What-
Grogu in this.
What does the audience need to know about what happened during this time?
Yeah.
That's the question that if you're
Yeah,
producer
exactly.
or
Yeah.
director, you're gonna have to ask.
Especially
right?
when you're only doing
Right.
6 episodes.
You only have so much time.
Right.
So,
So much
I-
real estate, yeah.
Arguably at best 6 hours, which that is not how these Star Wars shows ever work. So more than likely, probably around, assuming 30 minutes for 4 of the episodes and an hour for 2 of them.
I hate to. I am
Because
sorry.
I hate that it's 30 minutes for these shows.
Right. Hey, first of all, I hate I crashed your show, but I'm glad I did. 2, I hate I'm making you're gonna have all these conversations again tomorrow when we record the other show.
No, I'm fine with that.
But so the other thing that I want to point out is that
I don't know. There's another direction where that conversation is going to go tomorrow because of Drew.
Yeah, Drew's got a whole.
He's got thoughts.
Me and Drew are gonna fight. I can't wait. 'Cause we started to in the chat, and I was like, no, let's save this for the show. But so that's a teaser. You should watch next week's show. We've joked about this before, but so we're 9 years before New Hope, and Obi-Wan has 9 years. Oh, Ewan McGregor has 9 years to turn into Alec Guinness,
Yeah.
and
And we're going to probably see how that happens.
Owen's got 9 years, and Baru's got. I mean, like, oh, they Tatooine hard living, twin sons hard living,
Yeah, it's got 2 sons. It's double the cancer.
right? I was like, I saw a meme. It's got them all lined up together. It's like this is only 9 years from now. I'm like, woo.
Yeah. See, and Obi-Wan, you could probably get away more of like getting, because Ewan is also not. Well,
I mean,
no, he's probably the right age. He's probably the right age for this, because
We'll find out.
Also, I'm trying to see.
fly by one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. But I'm also like, this isn't the Obi-Wan show I personally want, but that's okay because I'm getting what I want in the novels, which is younger Obi-Wan adventures. Because I want like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan days.
All right, so Alec Guinness was 62 years old when he filmed Star Wars, which doesn't seem like old now, but like when you hear them talk about him, they're like how old he was. It's like it's only 62.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's because I'm in my 40s. I'm like 62 is not that far from that, so it don't seem so old to me.
It also doesn't seem that old based on like the
40
stories they told. Like they made him sound way more old and crotchety.
Okay,
And
and
Ewan
grandpas.
McGregor-
That's 40 years older than me.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor is
I don't think he's there yet.
no,
He's nowhere near there.
Near my age.
Yeah.
So he's 50 years.
Yeah.
So he's got 50. You know what? I'd buy it because he's okay. So he's 50 now. He's let's say 40. He filmed at 49. He's got.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of years older. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I can buy
it. I got it. I'm good with this.
And we don't know like the kind of like we don't know the stress he's going to get yet in the
right,
show.
right. I'll just buy. I mean,
I'm gonna assume a lot.
Yeah.
it can't be as stressful as getting Force lightning in the face.
Oh yeah.
And you know why I mentioned this, right?
Probably.
Because Palpatine gets Force lightning
Yeah.
in the face, and he got Force lightning in the face so hard it made a butt crack in his forehead.
Although there's also
Have you
this. There's
see-
yeah.
It is.
There's
literally-
there's also discussion though that he also always looked that way to a
Sure,
degree.
sure, but here's the thing.
I don't think it's.
Because
That-
there's a discussion that he always looked like that, and he disguised himself using.
My reasoning is this: I think he let the lightning hit himself.
Well, yeah, he did absolutely. It was to
That's
get.
why-
It was to get.
unlimited power.
Also he let the lightning hit himself because he knew Anakin was coming, and what's a
like-
great way to appease to Anakin's humanity than
Right.
because Anakin is
He didn't have to do it.
while
If he
Anakin
did it to
while
himself.
Anakin makes very poor decisions, and there is some argument that he just got tricked because of his humanity, but also at the same
I
time,
just want to save his wife.
it's not just that because it is a very much a discussion of he wanted power, but he just could never admit that to himself.
I do think that one of the
The dark side always leads
All right,
to that conversation.
So I really want to talk about Palpatine's butt crack forehead. So
Yeah, we'll do that first.
We'll pause on that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll remind to get back to because
Yeah.
jokes. But now you want me to put serious stuff. All right, so I don't think Anakin wanted power. I think Anakin just wants respect. He thinks he's the most powerful, and he is one of the most powerful Jedi. But Jedis are arrogant, so they don't. Respect is not a thing they do, and so
especially during prequel era,
Right.
because we're
Right.
we're exploring High Republic era where we see a different
Right,
aspect
but-
of that. But yes, during
but
prequels, yes,
prequel era, they're just kind of like whatever. And it's like no,
they've
but
gotten complacent.
Yeah, it's complacency.
Lazy.
right, and I can. It's like I'm basically Jedi guy. Whatever. What you can't be mad. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
If they would just respect him a little more, this movie happens totally different.
I don't know. I don't know because it is about power though, because he wants the power to save the ones he loves. But
No, he wants that power, but he doesn't want like ultimate power. Like Palpatine wants
I mean, but
unlimited power. That's the whole thing.
but it starts with just power enough to save the ones he loves. As the films go on afterwards, after he starts his journey down the dark side, it becomes more of I want power for the ruling.
Okay.
Because Empire Strikes Back, he
Well,
literally.
yeah, but that's
So-
when he's already flipped.
The way that I
I'd say. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
I'm curious.
the
'cause
way
he-
that I
'cause
see it
he's an outsider. I love this.
is one, Anakin could use a little bit more humility. Two, the Jedi could use a little bit more respect
It's
for
a little
other
both.
human beings as well. And three, while I do agree that he wanted to save his wife initially, that's correct. And then, of course, couple of years pass, wife's dead, doesn't need to care about that anymore. That's when like the power hunger comes in because he's like, now I am a symbol hit for the Empire's reign. I have to appear powerful all the time.
Okay.
Every time I am out in
So I'm
public.
going to disagree, and this is why I disagree.
Okay.
Is because now we have comics.
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
So-
which we've delved into it, but we haven't delved into the stuff that talks about Padme yet.
I tend to
Because there is stuff that talks about Padme.
and Caleb will know this. I rarely I think this is the first time in a long time I've actually had a discussion about a Legends content with Biggs. The first time
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm Mr. Canon. That's I like because there's so much Star Wars content
Yeah.
out there, and you've just gotta ring it in. That's what canon does. It rings it
Yeah.
in. So Anakin's issues all start from Phantom Menace.
Yep.
He
Immediately.
Yeah.
he is taken from his mother.
Yeah.
He makes the decision to do that, but still he's taken from his mother.
Yeah.
In episode 2, he's literally taken from his mother because she dies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he implants in episode 1 this kind of surrogate mommy syndrome to Padme because
Yep.
she cares for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he-
she becomes this surrogate mother to
Yeah.
him, and which he turns into love.
Mhm.
Which sometimes that happens, and especially with younger love.
Mhm.
And so he turns that into love.
I mean,
and
yeah.
then he's so worried about her. Is what because he has these dreams that she's going to die.
Yep.
Because emotions are the future. He's seeing Force visions basically what he's seeing the future, and it's always emotion. He's getting negative, and so emotion leads to the dark side. It's not a really fun thing to have.
Yeah.
He's not really looking for power after that. He's trying to adapt to what he is and trying to figure out what he is. And then he's also now plotting his revenge against the Emperor because he kind of resents Palpatine for this all happening.
Yeah.
And so and then Palpatine keeps like
Yeah, because he figures out
Palpatine's
a lot.
like
Especially in canon, he figures out that Palpatine manipulated a lot of the situations. While he may not have directly had a hand in certain people's deaths, he manipulated the situations.
Once Vader finds out he has a son, he again goes to, I want to connect with family. But he's dark side, so he does it in a negative way. I need my son with me so we can rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
But that's what it's not, none of this is he's just and on the flip
But I think it can be both. I think
I
think it can be about power while also being about.
I've never seen
you're
Vader
saying.
or Anakin as a power hungry character.
Because the dark side is always about power.
Is it?
Yes, literally, Darth Maul, power. Count Dooku, power.
I will say Maul. I don't think we get enough Dooku to make that decision.
Clone Wars is enough Dooku to make that decision.
I think. I also
and the book and canon material too. Also,
true, but we don't. Okay.
Jedi lost.
There's that, but see. Oh, here we get because I don't.
Yeah, now we
I don't want to be
into
I don't want to be pro dark side, but I end up trying to be pro dark side every time I have this conversation. But like
it may not start.
We don't see.
I don't think it ever starts as about
Clone Wars
power.
does a really poor job of explaining what the separatist cause is.
Yeah, well, for
they do a good job
for
at
the higher ups. It's about power,
Yeah,
but for the lower for the other planets that just happen to join, it's about they see actual corruption in the Republic.
Right. The Republic's become corrupt, and so
The problem is both sides are corrupt.
because all governments are corrupt. That's
Yeah,
how that's
that's the lesson. It's George's lesson.
It's just one life. Look at the Ukraine right now. It's literally all governments are corrupt. But, like in the end, Palpatine. What do you think? You think Palpatine's ultimate goal is power? I think that's a byproduct.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Is as that you delve into the dark side more, power becomes
right. But I'm saying
the automatic.
What do you think
goal.
Palpatine's goal is? And I'm gonna blow your mind what I think it is.
Control.
No. I think that's a byproduct.
Okay.
Peace. He wants peace. Unfortunately, the way he sees he has to have peace is that he's
It's the peacemaker way.
Right, because
Is it the case of if I beat everyone's ass hard enough, then they'll start to listen?
Right, and then because if you pay attention to canon after the movies, Palpatine's just not really there. He avoids the rule of government. He just lets them take care of it, and as long as it's not bothering him, he doesn't get involved. And then when it bothers him, he has to get involved and lay the smack down.
The reason I would still argue power even with that, though,
I'm not disagreeing about power. I'm just saying it's a byproduct. I think at the end he's like, this is a way for peace.
Thing is, though, during the reason that he's not involved with the government is because what's he doing that whole time?
Evil things.
He is looking for
more Sith secrets and
to add to his.
Sure, it's again part of the byproduct, but he's top dog. So what he's going to do with all the power? See, again, he's
not passing it down because
he's not have to. He's trying to live forever because Darth Plagueis, baby.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but I think like
I said, it can be both. Because the answer is both.
Right, but I thought, but one of the things in Episode 3 that he even says that when he turns Anakin, when Anakin becomes Vader, he's like, we can return to peace.
Yeah.
And then I got thinking about, what if this is him misguided, just being like, look, you guys are so bad, you just need an iron fist and a velvet glove to rule this place. And unfortunately, I have to do it through this dark side, whatever. And
can I tell you guys what my favorite exchange in that fucking movie is?
What's that?
It is when Palpatine, of course, tells Anakin directly that he's responsible for everything, and he immediately ignites his saber and points it at him, and he's like, what are you gonna do, kill me? And Anakin goes, I would fucking love to.
and Palpatine goes, well, you must.
He's like,
he's honest.
He's like, yeah, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, you have to.
He's like, the smartest thing for you to do would be to kill me right now. But if you do.
But wait, hold on. I can help you.
Yeah. He's
okay.
Anakin, like, you can see at that moment, he's like, I fucking want to, but what's he gotta say?
Episode 3 has its problems, but I do enjoy it.
Because the whole thing is, and canon stuff has added to this, Anakin is complete. Like Palpatine has completely like molded Anakin. Like from
Right.
the moment he got to Coruscant.
We'll be watching you.
Yeah,
You're okay
and
with
it's
that.
not even just that. Like the Obi-Wan and Anakin comic, which we'll get to, Palpatine basically starts his manipulation of Anakin. Then, like, he walks up to the Jedi and he's like, "Hey, you mind if I have some alone time with this new Padawan?" And they let him
Why?
because he's the Supreme Chancellor,
No,
and
fuck him. Why? Why would you do that?
Why wouldn't you? He's Supreme Chancellor.
yeah,
Who gives
why?
a shit?
But
He
but why
doesn't-
why do we not trust him?
Why do you trust the Jedi? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we trust him, and
Also for them, and this is where the plan backfires in episode 3 is like, I kind of think they're like, well, if it works out, we have an inside man, and then when you try to make him the inside man, he's like, huh? I mean, even Ahsoka is bought in that she cannot believe that Palpatine is evil.
Yeah.
There's no way that he can be evil because he is her mentor's best friend, and so he's basically grandpa.
it would be like somebody saying that, like somebody telling Ahsoka or Anakin that Padme was evil.
Right. It's like
It just-
and like in I don't know if you've seen the Clone Wars cartoons, but the 7th season.
Once again, I think bits and pieces.
Bits and
but there's-
pieces.
I hate I'm spoiling all this stuff
No,
for you,
it's
but
fine.
but
It's been out for 7 years.
Well,
Really-
season 7 is more
couple
recent.
years,
Oh.
but like the smartest thing that they've done was we got to see Ahsoka's journey through Order 66.
Yeah.
And so the last 3 episodes are basically her version of Revenge of the Sith, and they're great. And that one of the scenes in there is when she's on Mandalore, and she's talking to
Maul?
she's talking a hologram version
Oh, yeah.
of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Who's like, well, it's like, where can I talk to Anakin? And it's like, well, Anakin's busy. He's spying on the Chancellor. And she's like, what?
Why?
Well, and it's like, we think he's like, how do he can't? Well, you can't do that to him. this is a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that does bring up a question. Where did they, aside from just general corruption, where did they get their evidence?
That's mostly it, is the corruption. So basically, episode 3's whole plan is we got rid of Grievous, and he's supposed to let go of his power because technically we've already killed Dooku. So if we kill Grievous, that should be the end of the war. And similar to the U.S. where we had wartime powers, they gave the wartime powers to Palpatine.
Yeah.
But in this case, it means that he can be Chancellor until the war's over.
Right, and so the war's over because your leaders are
Because he's already gone way past his...
Yeah, both leaders are dead, so the war should be over.
And he's gone way past his term.
way past his turn.
Cincinnatus, Palpatine.
Because he's been Supreme Chancellor for 13 years.
Yeah,
at this
longer
point.
than any other Supreme Chancellor. And so they're like,
13 years, because it's at the end of Phantom Menace, and it goes all the way till 10 years for Attack of the Clones,
Yeah.
and then 3 years for Revenge of the Sith.
yeah,
So 13 years.
he's been in charge.
And I'm assuming it's a 4-year term similar to us.
Right.
And
I don't know if that's been
yeah, there's
verified, but I
no
think,
verification of
Right.
it, but I'm gonna just assume for now until we get verification. But they implied they straight up say he's past his term. We gotta get him out. So yeah, that's basically the plan, was to see how he reacts to that.
But see, the problem with that is like,
But it could also just be a corrupt politician.
they just, I think they're expecting, Grievous is dead, I'll resign right now.
yeah,
Instead of
because
like,
that's the other thing. It
because
could
the
just be
war-
a corrupt politician.
Right, the war is not. I mean, the war. There's cleanup to do at the end of the war. So
yeah, there's
Has anyone at that point in time signed any No.
no, because after Grievous dies, they still have to deal with all of these.
Don't they have to
They
go and sign?
They still have to deal with the Trade Federation people that are
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, everybody
They
knows
still have to deal with
everybody else who's on most of the Banking Clan,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Who went to
the
Mustafar.
Techno Union.
Techno Union.
So the war's not over, at all.
No,
until
no, it's
the
really
end of
not.
That movie
See,
where they're
right. Yeah,
And even then, you could argue it's not
I think
over.
that's my favorite scene in that whole movie.
Yeah.
It's
It just closes the door.
because it's like Vader doesn't look like Vader has some badass moments, and unfortunately they're all after the Holy Trilogy.
Mhm.
I think in Episode 3 when he walks in and he
Starts closing.
closing doors and
I
windows
think
and
you
stuff.
should probably start running at that point in time.
Yeah, that's
dear government officials.
It's like Lord Vader.
maybe you should fucking run.
Yeah, when you see-
a scary motherfucker in black robes,
And it's like,
shows up
Lord
and starts
Sidious promises
closing and locking
peace.
the door. Oh, he promised you peace, all right.
And I love this scene afterwards where he's just standing in the
It's like-
staring in the lava. His eyes
Kind
are
of just thinking back on what he just did.
right. But so it's almost like he's almost feeling sorry for what, but because he's crying for one, his eyes are yellow because he's turned into this monster. Oh, it's such a good scene.
Yeah, because he realized what he's done is terrible,
Right.
and especially once Padme shows up, he realizes it too.
Right.
Like, but yeah,
Padme, who dies of sadness.
George does not know how to write.
I know, right? Can you sadness? I don't know what's wrong with her, but she's got baby sad.
Yeah.
Lady sad, lady die.
Uh,
That's what that robot said. Beep, beep, boop, boop.
yeah, like the best attempt George has had at women was Leia, specifically in episode 4.
All right, so I want to go
But
back.
yeah, let's-
I want
let's
to
go back to butt crack.
All right, so
Okay.
so
Much more less serious.
Yeah, we're
well,
done with serious.
this is a less serious note because I and this may actually get brought up tomorrow too. But is it the dark side of the Force's joke to put an ass crack on Palpatine's head? And because it is an ass crack, it is like a straight. If you see it without the hood, it is straight up an ass
Yeah.
crack. And you can pull it up.
Yeah, I've seen- yeah,
because just to remind,
Oh.
to remind
Yeah.
you that it is like I kept
It's like
I-
a big line.
like just
isn't
right
it?
there, in his giant booty forehead. And my question was, someone had to design that makeup, and
Well, even there it
there
is.
it is.
That's a good one.
Look, that is a wrinkly ass crack in his head, and
Yeah, he went from this
right
To that.
to that, right, and
and then somehow it got lessened
right
to that.
right because it's like you never notice it in the hood and in Jedi, but like man, I can't unsee it now, and
Hey, it's still better than monkey, dog, whatever face that he had in the original version of Empire.
right. However, so a makeup artist had to design that. George had to go, yeah, he totally has a butt crack for a head, and approve it. And then he had to sit in makeup every day to get the butt crack put to, and no one's like, it's an ass crack, right? That no one has this discussion,
Yeah.
and it's like maybe we fix it. No, butt
Yeah.
crack in the head.
Yeah, here's the original Palpatine in Empire, where before they got Ian McDermott.
With Clive Davis doing the
Yeah,
voice.
Clive.
That's
Revelle.
a lady who's doing the part.
Yeah. It was one of their editors.
Yeah, I can't think of her name though.
And then they added like a monkey stuff to it, and like they overlaid it.
That's one of the
To be
things.
honest, I'd actually be a lot more scared of that because that doesn't look human.
Right. Well, they didn't know what
It
he was going to look
looks
like.
human.
Yeah.
It's
Whereas
not
this is the once they did the
It's
Re-release.
The re-release looks less scary though. That's frightening.
yeah.
But I get it. You got to match.
You gotta
It's
you
one
gotta
of the-
you gotta have
it's-
continuity.
It's
One's a
one.
nightmare creature, the other is a decrepit old man.
It's one of the changes that he made that I was like, okay, this
I
totally-
understood it,
100%
yeah.
makes sense, and I'm okay with it. The biggest one.
Empire tends to have the best changes.
Yeah, I like the Wampa scene.
It's
Bespin looks great.
It's really just a New Hope where the changes are kind of wonky just for the sake of being there.
Right.
And
Jabba scene's a
Return
little
has
weird.
some, but like it's really a New Hope where
Jedi gets forgetting because he's got Jedi rocks, and I know there's haters out there, but I love Jedi rocks. Goonie Day.
you love your Yesm.
I love my Yesm. I like my biggest the biggest thing I didn't like in the Empire was I love Boba Fett's original voice,
Oh yeah,
and
but once again for continuity they
right, but I'm like, it's a voice changer. Does it
Yeah.
have to be? I like.
Mhm.
I just it doesn't.
Yeah.
he doesn't sound right to me.
And then I like Yub Nub, but not enough to be upset that they switched it.
I forgot about Yub Nub. No, I like Yub Nub too, but because
Because honestly, the new song works better because it feels more like this is the end of the trilogy.
right, but it's still not like Yub Nub.
Yub Nub's fun playing Battlefront 2 with.
Yub Nub.
Like some of my best memories
I
of
don't
that
know
song
all
is
about Ewokese.
some of my best memories of that song is playing the original Battlefront 2 Jedi the hero mode.
Some of my fondest memories is playing with my Ewok village in front of my giant, the old school TVs that were like part of your
Yep.
furniture that had the wood around it.
Mhm.
It was probably a 24-inch screen because that's the biggest we got. It was heavy because it was all glass CRTs.
Yep.
and but I remember playing my little Ewok Village playset during the end of the movie, so I could actually pretend like I was in the movie. I was such a dork when I was a kid.
All right. So we are just about an hour in. We should probably talk about our book.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Well, I've ruined your show.
No. You're good.
It's
It was fun.
I have not read the book, so this is where I'm going to exit.
Okay.
Because reading is hard. I don't know why you read, jerks.
Don't worry. I'll get you to read the comics soon. It's a few more weeks before we're gonna get to that.
All right, cool. I'll be back to read some. I can read. Those have pictures.
Yeah, those are picture books.
And that are if it's an audiobook.
Although I
can do
think
that.
this book had pictures too, but I didn't
it's
get to
got a
read the
few.
physical. I did the audiobook.
All
It's got
right.
a few pictures.
I let him borrow the physical.
Mission to Disaster.
Yeah.
But Justina Ireland.
She's been
She's
pretty
knocking it out of the
good.
park.
Yeah, she's been pretty good. Justina Ireland's been writing some good books. And then
This one is better than the last one I read.
oh yeah, the last one was Test of Courage.
I believe so.
Yeah. And she didn't write the second of the junior novels, which we haven't read yet.
You jumped. Fucker, you jumped in time again.
Yeah, I thought I told you.
Man,
Damn
I've jumped all over this conversation, so it's okay. I
Yeah.
blame me. It's my
Yeah.
fault.
I
I crashed it, ruined his train of thought. I just
No,
heard
it's not
the.
your
No.
fault.
I just
It's
heard.
yours.
I'll accept that.
Actually, the fault is based on their release schedule. Stop releasing Star Wars books until we get caught up.
Read faster.
Well, we only do one book a week.
Wow, that's a lot, man. I've proof that they don't have kids. I don't have kids either. Like,
Hey, but
I don't know. You may have like 3 kids.
you know
I don't know.
what's great though is tax write-offs.
Word.
Yeah.
I
me.
can write these off.
Oh god, yeah. Me, father of the year. No,
No.
true at all.
But yes.
Ugh.
So this is Mission to Disaster.
Mhm.
This is the
I'm just gonna sneak off like I snuck.
no,
out.
you're good. This is part of Wave 3 of Phase 1.
Okay.
So to put this into perspective, it's before Fallen Star
Yeah.
and before Midnight Horizon.
Okay.
It is after the Great Fair that you have yet to see still.
Whatever the fuck happened on Valo, everyone, I've already said this. What happened and how bad can it be?
Yeah, because it obviously had to be worse than the Great Disaster.
Yeah. But it can't be as bad as Starlight Beacon. So, what tragedy am I looking at this time?
Yeah.
How bad's that gonna be? Because now I have a
Now there's just so
fucking
much.
list.
Yeah, there's just been so much build up to it that I feel like when we do get to Rising Storm, it's going to be disappointing.
Like, if it's, oh no, X amount of people died, and it's not higher or lower than 20 billion, which is the starting point, I remind you.
Yeah.
I will probably be let down.
Yeah. Well, this book has less death.
Yeah, this one has a lot less, actually.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of do a more casual,
Yeah.
full spoiler review than
Yep.
usual.
Full spoilers.
Yeah, it's full spoilers as always, but it's a little more casual. We're going to kind of just hit the high points. So we start off with Avon
Yep.
because we get all of our characters back from the first
Yep.
of these Test of Courage. So we get Avon, who is studying that Kyber crystal that she took from Emery.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, she has still not caused the Death Star yet.
Nope.
You know, her research is the start of what Galen and we were discussing this. It's you know, she's got 200 plus years before that research gets finalized. Because Galen and Krennic, Galen and Krennic finish
Carrot
off
Man.
Krennic. Galen and Krennic finish off that research. More Galen than Krennic.
So,
But yeah, so she's studying that along with J9. When the Nihil,
it's J6, isn't it?
J9.
J9? Are you sure?
I heard J9 over and over and over again in that audiobook.
Okay.
I can pull it up.
Let's see. They got the number wrong.
Let's see. It's going to be the forever. Oh, J6. It's J9 in the audio.
Well, they were wrong.
Yeah, in the audiobook they kept saying J9.
Yeah, but the audiobooks have
They also have disagreements where Mark Thompson doesn't know if it's
Markion,
Markion or
Martian.
Marchion. Yeah, Markion or Marchion row.
But I'm not gonna give him too much guff.
Anyways,
So yeah.
so yeah, J6 is there.
and
as
it's
usual.
a nice little lab.
Yeah, a little lab. You know,
Fine.
basically Avon is in like sort of an internship.
Kinda, yeah.
And so, but then the Nihil show up and ruin
Because
it.
Of course they do. Because the Nihil just love ruining things.
But J6 gets a taste of blood for the first time because J6 is like, oh sweet, I get to use my protective programming that Avon's given me. Time to murder some Nihil.
Like, J6 is not with Avon at this point.
No.
in time.
But J6 is around,
They're around.
and
but-
so they're obviously they are like, oh, where's Avon? Where?
Yeah.
Uh,
Where's my daughter?
essentially.
Uh,
Unfortunately, Avon is captured
yeah.
because
But
the
not
Nihil
before-
gas.
But not before stuffing one of her classmates essentially into a closet so that they don't get caught.
Yeah. And so they do send out a distress signal.
Yep.
Which gets sent to our Jedi
Mm.
friends, Emery and Vernestra, who are on I forget the name of the planet, but it's basically the planet where they test they practice their force jumps
Yeah.
techniques.
It's
and-
Cliff Planet.
Yeah, Quiff Planet. Yeah, they basically practice their force jump techniques so that way they can learn to catch themselves with the force or have
Yeah.
their master catch them.
And
Which Vernestra is like, Emery is like 5 times bigger than me. This kind of sucks.
yeah. And at that point, I think I've been doing it like 30 times. It's like the 30th time.
Yeah, and it's just like Emery is like 5 times bigger than me, even though I'm his master. This sucks.
Yeah.
So,
Emery is like, "Don't worry, Vern. I've got it. I can nail it this time."
does not nail it.
Actually, he does.
Oh yeah, he does on the last one.
because Emery.
Emery
not
is Vernestra is busy having a little bit of a force vision.
God, these things are a fucking problem, but they're also really useful.
Yeah, in this case, it's really useful because she basically sees the attack that we just witnessed.
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, Emery caught himself because
Emery caught
Vernestra was
himself.
not paying attention.
She was busy. Actually, I think Emery crashes like directly into her. And that's what causes the vision to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so,
Turns out all you need to do is fucking throw a force sensitive at another one and the vision stops.
I don't know. I feel like that's a bad thing to do. I feel like that's the same thing as like how you're not supposed to awake somebody who's sleepwalking.
Probably not a good idea, but it worked this time.
Yeah. So obviously we know Vernestra has force visions because Test of Courage showed that whenever in hyperspace she usually gets them. But this time, this is her first one where she was not in hyperspace and she got one, and she's like,
yeah, she's like, "Oh no."
now I'm getting them more often. Oh no.
On the upside though, Emery has gotten a lot better at dealing with emotional
Yeah.
overload.
Yeah. Because
Since he's basically good at absorbing ambient emotion.
Yeah, because his power is literally empathy.
Yeah.
He's an empath. But basically they discuss it and they're like, oh yeah, we should probably look into that, especially since we're
Yeah.
not that far from the planet where this happened. Hey,
So-
Port Hayleap. Port Hayleap.
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 Look, man. I don't have the audiobooks. I don't have a pronunciation guide.
Yeah, Port Hayleap. So they go to Port Hayleap.
So everything is read phonetically. All of the letters are there.
But Hayleap is phonetically still too, because
Yeah.
if you read it, it's leap. Yeah. But yeah, so they go to Port Hayleap which is where they started in a Test of Courage also.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like coming back home, especially
Kinda.
for Emery, like because Emery was trained here a lot. No,
Vern.
Vern was.
Vern was stationed here to look over Avon.
Oh yeah. I thought Master Douglas and
Nope.
Emery were also there. That's
Mm-mm.
why Avon and Douglas connected.
I think so, but I think Emery got like essentially student transferred.
Yeah. So, well, master knight transferred because she's not a student.
Yeah.
Teacher transfer.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go back there where they discuss the what went down because they find out what happened.
Emery's fucking complaining. He's like, "Who blows up a noodle cart?"
Yeah, because
Emery's
yeah.
like,
I immediately, as soon as that scene happened, I was like, wait, so Emery is the Naruto of Star Wars?
I have no idea.
He wants his noodles.
Like, he's like, damn.
Yeah, because they got there and the first thing they see is the destroyed like noodle cart.
He's like, the Emery is like, man, I fucking hope whoever did this is suffering.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately,
no.
they got away with kidnapping Avon and a few others.
So they continue, and
Well,
eventually they're like,
they meet up with the Jedi that's stationed there.
yeah, and they're like, yeah, the Nihil came and took all the children. That's not the voice they give him, I'm imagining.
No.
But that's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
They're like, they blew up all our stuff.
Thankfully-
took some stuff, and they
Yeah.
took the kids as well. And they're like, well, why would they do that?
Well, thankfully, one of the kids is there to explain it.
Yeah.
Because thanks to Avon hiding that kid in a closet.
And this is when J6 is like, hey, can I come with you guys to fucking murder these guys?
Yeah, because I got a taste of blood now, and now I'm like,
I want my daughter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, let's go ahead and jump to
J6
what.
is Avon's real mother.
Yeah,
Cannot
yeah.
change my mind on this.
Yeah,
Gira.
Gira is a terrible mother.
Mm-hmm.
And we will discuss, like, we talked a little bit about it during our Midnight Horizon, not Midnight Horizon episode, it was the Fallen Star episode.
Something.
Yeah, during the Fallen Star episode, we talked about how bad Gira is as a mother. We'll get more into that at the end of this book.
But they're like, all
Let's-
right.
Yeah, so they decide to go. Well, unfortunately, they get and before they can deal with that, they get a call for help from some of their old friends at the what's the name of the planet?
Donna?
Donna. Yeah, Donna.
Yeah. They're like, we got some weird stuff going over here. You guys want to come take a look at it?
Yeah, like it's not Nihil related, but like as far as we know, but like it's still weird,
It's still very odd.
and we need some Jedi assistance.
Yeah.
So
So they go there.
yeah, and they have friends at Donna because they've got
Yeah.
you've got
Got Honesty, Shania,
yeah.
and the Jedi whose names I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they're a lot nicer.
And so they decide to go there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Avon
Avon.
so when she first arrives with the other kids, she wakes up to find the other kids not knowing where they're at or any no clue what planet or anything. She's like, "Hey, I got Jedi friends. We can get this solved. In fact, let's start coming up with plans now
Yep.
for how to get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that doesn't go well because she ends up getting the attention of a couple of the Nihil,
Yep.
one of which is your favorite character from the War of the Bounty Hunters comic, as well as your favorite Nihil, Diva LaPump. Diva LaPump?
God.
LaPump? Yeah.
Despite that woman's gonna live forever.
She at least lives until War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah. which
And
is
after that.
like- which is about what? 170, 180 years?
It's 200 plus.
Oh, shit.
Because remember, 200 years. Remember, these books are 200 years before. Well, now 199 years before A New Hope. I'm not sorry, Phantom Menace. 199 before Phantom Menace. Add 19 to get to A New Hope. Add 3 to get to Empire.
She's gonna live a while. But she's
So
essentially the entire time Avon is on the ship that I assume they're in transport to Dalna.
yeah,
She's like, okay.
yeah, because it's revealed that that's where they're
Yeah.
like we learn later that's where they're going.
So she's like coming up with plans to escape, but every time fucking Deva catches her and she's like, Oh, you thought you were real clever, huh?
You're lucky I don't want to eat you.
Like, they even bring that up. And like,
Yeah,
one of the children-
because they talk about how they've heard that race eats people.
And so Avon kind of goes like, "No, you're kind of like stereotyping." And the thing is, we know for a fact that Deva eats.
Yeah,
people.
we know for a fact because War of the Bounty Hunters, one of the first things she does is she eats her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, she doesn't eat children though.
Apparently.
Correction, we haven't seen her do it yet.
Yeah, she at least
I don't think so.
No, like
But
the
with this instance, it's more like I don't feel like it.
yeah, less than
Rather than
a I just don't. It's more of a I don't feel like it.
yeah.
Yeah. She's the worst.
So
But she does bring her
She's
Avon to the actual
yeah.
leadership of this
Karazu.
Karzu, who's a Weequay, no, Aqualish.
Yeah, thing.
Yeah, an Aqualish, because they mentioned that it's similar to the Aqualish from Test of Courage.
And so Karazu's like, all right.
Who's the I think she's the runner for this
Yeah,
one.
she's like a
Tempest runner.
She's like, all right. What was your plan? You got this far. What were you trying to do?
Yeah.
Elon's like, well, I better start lying.
Yeah, and so like, because she gets caught messing with some of the electronics, and so she starts going, well, I'll just talk, science mumbo, like I'll do some science speak, and since I know what I'm talking about and they don't, maybe I can get away with it. Unfortunately, there is a scientist on the Nihil team.
Are we going to Dr. Campa or are we going to the repairman?
Uh,
Because the repairman happens first.
oh yeah, let's talk about the
The
repairman then.
repairman is on the ship and
Yeah.
it's like, fine, I will take you under my wing. We're just going to work on the ship.
Yeah. So
That's it.
yep,
Until we get there.
yep, and so that kind of happens. Eventually, they get there.
Yeah, they get there. And
Once again, Avon is like, I'm gonna mess with the stuff to figure things out, and also I got these kyber crystals I can mess with.
I think Diva catches her again. And it's like, what was your plan here, kid?
Yep, that tends to be the broken record there for her.
Like, Diva doesn't even seem upset. She's just like, this is a fucking smart kid. If
That-
only she would quit trying to run
Yeah,
away.
it's more of a slight annoyance.
It's like, fucking quit it. It's like telling like a 3-year-old to stop fucking throwing a car or something.
Yeah, and so like, because really the reason they're kidnapping these children is to enlist them into the
We
Nihil.
need more Nihil.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've heard, but the Nihil are losing,
Yeah.
or at least supposedly.
Yeah. It's a fake out.
It's a fake out, yeah. It's a huge fake out, as we know by the time of Fallen Star.
And so she starts rambling. She uses the power of science to save her life again.
Yeah, she's got the power of science on her side.
And some of the children are being farmers. Some are like, okay, these are the new recruits, and
You're gonna
Miss
go.
Tech Face.
You're gonna go with Doctor M.
Face, that's
Yeah.
not what.
You're gonna go with our doctor.
You're gonna go with our doctor. By the way, don't run away. It won't work out.
Yeah,
Quit trying.
and so she goes with the doctor for a bit, and
It's where we get
Avon is trying to figure out this is where we really figure out where Avon draws the line
Yeah.
in terms of her scientific exploration, because Doctor M.
Dr. M. Kampa
has
is
no line. There's no line.
that part of science that does not question whether or not it has gone too far.
Yeah, there is no moral line to research.
Yeah.
The goal, also the goal for Dr. M. Kampa
But she's also
is
a war
not.
scientist.
Yeah, her
so-
goal is not to cure anything or provide a new source of renewable power energy. It's how do I create weapons that can have the most
Yeah.
death?
Since she was like on a planet that essentially civil war was just the thing that they did.
Don't. Well,
Different planet.
oh yeah. Well, Delna also has never-ending civil wars originally until recent. It's
Yeah,
really
it
recent
stopped
history.
100 years ago.
Yeah, which is recent.
Yeah.
In terms of like planetary history.
Yeah. Oh, Here is something that I thought about because this book did make me question it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, have you ever thought about the implication of how? So the families in certain children are going missing, right?
Yep.
Have you ever thought about that on like an actual planetary scale? How fucking big these planets have to be, and how hard it would actually be to monitor
Oh yeah.
every family?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Now
well,
add that to
fucking
it.
course there are
Mm,
people going missing.
And now add that to a galactic scale.
Yeah. And it's like people go missing like very often if we're raising the numbers up, right?
Yeah.
So of course it could either be legitimately real in that they actually don't know, or they're just lying.
Yep.
And that's sort of the like tone I was able to
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I guess we're gonna go back to the Emery and
Yeah.
Vernestra side of it. The Downians don't want help from the Jedi
because of
because they don't trust them.
what was it called? I think it was called like the Night of Blood or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we don't really like the Jedi for that reason.
Like, we put up with you guys, but that's it.
Yeah, we'll let you stay here.
But we just won't trust you with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
And so they go over and they review that, or they try to look it up, like what happened.
Yeah, and they try to talk. They can't find anything in records, so they talk about it with honesty.
And he's like,
Kind of gives like the vaguest of description because we don't really talk about that.
it's one of those things where they're like, by the way, don't talk about this after midnight or something will fucking happen. And, it's
in
not
fact,
good.
just don't talk about it ever because we try to avoid Night of Sorrow.
No, sorry. Yeah.
We try to not talk about it. Now I'm curious though if since Phase 2 is going a few years back, 150 years back, I wonder if we'll see the Night of Sorrow.
And they're like, we don't like the Jedi. Why? Some bad shit happened.
We won't see the Night of Sorrow because according to Wikipedia, it takes place in 380. We'll be a few decades short. Oh well.
That doesn't tell us anything either.
Yeah.
Just that a lot of people died.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, the Night of Sorrow was also known as the Massacre of Dalna, was a devastating battle fought on the Outer Rim territories, planet Dalna, around 380 BBY, so like I said, a few decades short of where we'd end up in Phase 2. When the planet was newly settled, during the battle, the Jedi Order and Galactic Republic answered a call for help from Dalna, and not fully understanding the problem, the Jedi rushed in, which caused many Dalnan deaths. In the aftermath of the battle, the Dalna Jedi Temple was built, and Dalnans blamed the Jedi Order for the deaths that occurred. So it sounds like maybe they are falsely putting the blame on the Jedi, but maybe there's still some of the blame.
Maybe not. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, because we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, they don't talk about the Night of Sorrow, similar to not talking about Bruno.
Shut the
It doesn't quite have the same ring. No, not the same flow. Anyways, so yeah, they don't talk about it. But at the same time, Honesty is trying to help.
Yeah. Honesty's trying to help because he's like,
These are my people, and we honestly have issues that need to be dealt with.
and so he brings Shania because she saw some stuff.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, we'll meet up with you at the temple and we'll talk about it, what you saw. And it's like, okay, you could tell them. They go over at sunrise. And you know the thing that surprised me? Normally it's like, oh, the chief of security is the one that's working for, like, the bad. Not this time.
Nope.
This time, super not corrupt. And is just in a case of, I would fucking love to do something about it.
Just can't.
I'm not allowed to because then I will have like hostages
Also, like, tons of red tape on top of that.
and the bureaucracy is getting in the way.
But there is a spy among the
Yeah.
Downans, in fact. Though it's funny that you mentioned the spy.
And so essentially they have like the vice president's son out in a shack next to a volcano, and the threat is, if you guys try anything, we will fucking essentially drop a mountain on your son.
Yeah.
Which, probably a pretty good threat. And we know the Nihil don't make idle gestures very often of such things.
In fact, I don't think
Actually,
they've
never done
I was
that.
about to say I don't think they've ever made an
They've
idle
always
gesture.
carried through,
Yeah.
even if it was a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at you in Light of the Jedi, what's his name now? He's dead now.
He's dead. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He made some poor decisions.
Don't fuck with Ariadu.
Yeah, do not fuck with Ariadu. That's where Tarkin came from.
And so they eventually do get the vice president's son back, and it's like, okay, now that that's done, I can just tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
Also, we don't really like the new president, but at the same time,
What you gonna do?
yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's
So,
that.
Continue.
What was the name of the spy? I forget.
It's just the Dawn and Preston. I don't fucking remember what their actual name is.
Yeah, because they were like the cousin of the Nihil member.
Yeah.
And yeah. So there was like a cousin of the Nihil member who's a spy.
And so they're like, okay, president's gone. Now what? They're like, well, I guess we should go fucking looking for these kids.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Avon has once again tried to escape, and also was messing with the research of, and so they
Avon has now gotten to the she's realized something about her assignment with Dr. Incampa, and it is that she will be putting together the weapons the Nihil use. And she is struggling a little bit with, what the hell am I going to do?
So she decides, because she has the Kyber crystal. The Kyber crystal is apparently very important to Dr. Mkampa's like weapon research. She decides, well, what if I just like pretty much fracture it in a way, like just make it not work, like make really bad copies, essentially.
So that's what she does. And it doesn't...
Unfortunately, it doesn't quite have the result she wants.
Yeah, the first time initially. And she's like, okay, I still need to try and go and break out and get help.
Yeah.
And so she does.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the things where I'm like, despite the fact that I know I'm not the smartest, I just guessed what they needed for the thing to supposedly work properly. So she gets caught again, but not before sending out a message on repeat and encrypting it so people won't get caught up.
But she now has to come up with, once again, a lie of, what was I doing? Oh, I was doing this technobabble thing.
Yeah.
And Mkampa at
is-
first is like, what? That is terror. That's not how that works.
And so this is a weird part where I actually sat for a good 5 minutes in thinking about what you would need for that to actually work. And I'm like, oh, you would just need either a very special lens or a slightly bigger lens.
And sure enough,
Next thing, they're like, oh, you would just need this very special lens. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
wow, you're as smart as Avon. Look
I'm
at you.
not as smart as Avon. I just understood what the bullshit meant.
Oh, see, I'm
Resonant just means vibrate.
yeah.
They just need the crystals to vibrate at the right frequency.
Yeah, because they're basically creating
They're just
essentially an
making-
earthquake machine.
Yeah.
Because, on a planet filled with volcanoes, an earthquake machine is enough to get that going.
And so she's like, those theories didn't used to work, but because of this new scientific development, maybe it will. And they go,
So they
I
let
still need that kid.
Yeah, so once again they let Avon pass because they're like, okay, she's smart enough.
Yeah, and so Avon continues with her plan.
This time though, they for a very short amount of time they chain her up.
They chain her to like a table.
Yeah, that way she only can go so far.
Yeah.
Enough to help Dr. Mkampa, but not escape.
Yeah.
But once again, does not take them long to just be like,
Yeah.
this is stupid.
Dr. Incampa actually is like, your physical body is not free, so your mind isn't either. It just unlocks it and is like, all right, you're free to do it.
She's also like, you're useless to me without
Yeah.
being able to walk a little bit further.
Yeah.
So, And once again, Avon starts messing with the crystals.
And she's like, okay, I need to make them a little bit more essentially cracked this time for them to work the way that I need them
like
to.
the more fractured they are, the more likely she's hoping that it will not work.
She's right.
she's right to a degree.
Yeah.
Because eventually the cracking actually helps the machine.
No, her initial ones where she started to crack them weren't enough, so the machine still worked properly.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, I need to crack them more
Yep.
in order for the thing I want to happen.
Which was just to destroy, like,
Yes.
basically blow up the machine.
Unfortunately, it also does the thing that...
At the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it also still allows the machine to work, but then...
But then it's one use only.
Yeah, it's a one-use machine.
And so that...
Which is still enough for MCOM to be like, I like those results. Perfect.
Yep.
And so Avon's like, hey, I got a weird request. Can I go back to those kids that I was with when I first arrived? And she's like, why would you want to do that? They're beneath you.
And Avon lies, and she's like, I want to gloat.
Yeah, I want to gloat and kind of rub their faces in it about how cool, how scientifically superior I am to them.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that actually follows.
Yeah. And so she goes, and she's like, all right, here, go talk to your friends. And only one of them is still there.
Yeah, the other one has escaped.
The other one has escaped, and another one has actually, like, just fully joined up with an Nihil.
Yeah.
And she's, like, talking, and she's like, so here's the plan. This is the 5th one we've tried, but it'll work this time. And so, I forget what that character's name is, and essentially they're like, I don't have any other option, so I might as well try it.
Yeah.
And of course, this is when Avon figures out that they're on Dalna.
Yep.
Roughly around this time.
Yeah, around this time, yeah.
And she's like, well, this is great.
Yeah, it's at this time because because after hearing about her friend escaping, she's like, I hope they got away, and then she hears afterwards, oh, we're on Dalna.
Yeah.
Okay, then he definitely got away.
Yeah. Ice skaters are cool. I don't know how the fuck they work, but they're cool.
Oh yeah, M-Compass, little cybernetic guy or no?
No, ice skaters.
Ice skaters. Oh, ice skaters, not ice scanners. Got it. I misheard. Hey, I'm the old man out of the two of us, so I'm allowed to mishear things.
I know.
Ice skaters are a freak of nature.
Yeah. I was having this discussion with you in the car. I'm like, what the fuck is this planet?
It's Dalna.
Dalna is wild.
Ice skaters are also on the cover of the book.
Yeah.
So,
but it raises some questions from me as to whether or not they're cold-blooded or warm-blooded.
Wikipedia does not say.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter now.
Well, apparently they lived on polar ice caps and moved to warmer places during summer.
That doesn't answer the question.
No, and in fact, it raises more questions.
Yeah. What the fuck, Dalna? You have a very strange ecosystem.
Yeah.
I assume they eat the
Also-
little buffalo thingies.
Yeah, because apparently the average height is the size of a land speeder.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
That's scary.
Yeah. That.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Because your average land speeder is... Those are...
Height? Or width?
Height.
Height? Well, that means they're anywhere from, like, the size of a car.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like I said, that's kind of terrifying.
They don't look like that on the cover, but...
So let's kind of be glad that, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at the end.
But Vern, Imri, and the rest of the Dalton Jedi.
Yasik.
Yasik. That's what his name is.
Yeah, and then Lissa Vots.
Sparkbird.
Yeah, Yasik Sparkburn. Yeah, because they have to say Emery's not there because Emery is on his way to Starlight, or he's already at Starlight by this point, actually,
He's either, yeah, he's at Starlight.
because he went to get help.
Yep.
Got to get help.
Because essentially Vern's like, you're a better pilot than I am, and also you're better at talking to people, so you go and deal with that.
Yeah, because they talk about it in this book, and they talk about it in earlier books that we've skipped so far.
Yeah.
Vern cannot fly a ship to save her life.
She's crashed. Like,
She's crashed so many
three
that
of 'em.
she's crashed so many that the Jedi who's in charge of lending out ships has basically been like, you are not allowed to have ships anymore.
In her defense, though, she is having weird space visions every time she drives. That's not really her fault. But
It's not quite every time, but like just about. We're exaggerating, but
that's probably not a good reason for her to not be piloting the ship.
but yeah, so she has Emery fly whenever they go somewhere now. Thankfully, Emery's a good pilot, so
And I believe Emery takes the vice president with him.
yeah, because during the
Starlight.
ice skater situation,
Yeah.
they are saving the vice president's son.
Yeah.
Hackreck.
Yep. So they take him, and they're like, all right, we're at Starlight. We'll talk. And so during...
Yeah, because he talks to Astala Maru, who is like the Jedi chief,
Yeah.
along with the actual Republic chief of security, who is in the short stories that we'll eventually start reading. That's right. That's who the spy is.
That's another one of them.
There's another spy, which I'm upset because I like that character, and so to find out, like, after all this time
You're a
that they were,
traitor.
like, because they've been around since Wave 1, like, in the short stories, Gal Tarpfin, because they're the chief of security on Starlight Beacon.
The Nihil are everywhere. All the time.
That was
They're always fucking watching.
That was a betrayal that I actually felt, and I was kind of upset with. I was like, ugh.
And so,
But I'm also behind on a couple short stories, so maybe there was more hints to it, but
and so Hakrek Beb and Emery's like, oh, thank God, I can finally go and get some rest after like seeing off Hakrek Beb
yep.
to his like hotel room, essentially.
Yeah.
And Emery's like, oh, thank God I can go to sleep. And no. As it turns out, someone has taken the Bioshock approach and just fucking smacked the shit out of Hakrek Beb on the back of his head.
Yep.
I don't know why they did that,
Yeah.
because that doesn't necessarily...
And also, while they're on Starlight Beacon, somebody takes pot shots at the president or the vice president.
Yeah. That doesn't help.
Which turns out it's Gaul.
Yeah. I'm a little bit confused because I don't think that helps the Nihil's plan.
Yeah, they never really explain why.
does-
It never gets explained why Gaul attacked the vice president.
Is it so?
It might have been a distraction.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
It's enough.
Why go
It kind of works
after-
because they don't leave. They don't leave to go to Dona until after they realize that Gaul is gone. Like, that's a whole like day's worth of investigating that they did, where they could have already been on their way to Dona.
I think they have to wait for...
Which they have to wait anyways because they're waiting for the Star Wars hotel to arrive and drag the Starlight Beacon.
Yeah.
Because the Star Wars hotel ship is in this book.
So they go...
Yeah, cross promotion.
So, essentially, Emery...
Halcyon
eventually-
Legacy. That's the name of the ship.
So they eventually get all the stuff together, and they're like, all right. Hakrek Beb wakes up, and Emery kind of questions him. He's like, so is there any reason... What's going on with the Mawat Mountains? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's like this fault line.
And that's when they puzzle it together.
Oh.
And by then Avon has thankfully escaped again, along with her one friend that still hasn't escaped.
And they're like, we better get on that ship and fucking leave.
Yeah. So they managed to get the Halcyon Legacy to drag Starlight Beacon into hyperspace. And so, because the way they figure is, well, if Halcyon Legacy is towing Starlight Beacon, then it can go into hyperspace and bring Starlight Beacon to hyperspace with it.
Ew.
Because, they'd be in the same hyperspace well.
Essentially, they're doing a toe jump.
Yeah, they're doing a
That's
toe jump.
actually what it's
Yeah,
called.
that's what they call it, a toe jump.
And it's not just Halcyon Legacy. There's a bunch of other ships.
Yeah,
helping
but
as
it's
well.
like one of them. Yeah, it's just the one I could recognize
Yeah.
off the bat.
And so they do that, and it's a good reason.
It's
Starlight-
also probably good that it wasn't just Halcyon Legacy, because that's a cruise ship. That's
Yeah.
not a. It's not exactly a tow ship.
And so they bring Starlight Beacon to Dalna, which is a good plan, considering what happens to Dalna.
Yeah, like while they're on their way, unfortunately things go off on Dalna.
Yeah.
So Macampa and all of them are like, okay, we should set off our weapon because we're starting to lose control of the situation.
Diva and I think several others of the Nihil are currently gone because they're like, let's go conduct a raid.
Yeah, let's not be here, essentially.
Yeah. Because we're the Nihil and we take what we want.
That's exactly their line, so yeah.
Yeah. So they go, almost everyone's gone. It's really just Dr. M. Campa and like a skeleton crew, really.
Not even, yeah, it's not even the Tempest Runner. She's gone.
Yeah, she's gone too.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, now's the perfect time to escape. And
Yes and no.
almost works. And so Mkampa shows back up and she's like, oh, I see how it is.
Yeah.
I guess I have to kill you now. She has a gun arm. And you know what? This is the one thing in this series I was like, okay, Avon.
Yeah, we're looking at the picture of Macampa now. She looks really cool. I'm gonna post that.
The one thing I didn't really agree with Avon on, she's like, putting a gun in your arm seems a little bit unethical. And I'm like,
Have you seen the universe we live in?
do you know where you live? Are you sure about this? Is like the least unethical thing in this universe.
Yeah, there we go. There's Dr. Macampa.
Yep, there she is.
Yeah,
Oops.
nope, yep, there you
we
go. Yeah,
Right.
on a little bit above, kind of covering your buddy Johnny.
Good. I don't want to see him today.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But yeah.
that's like the least unethical body modification in this world.
Yeah, there's like way more unethical ways, but I get it because like the way Avon's looking at it is like that's not forwarding science in a way that is useful.
Yeah.
That's more of just war and destruction, which Avon is kind of against using
Yeah.
science for that.
Well, she's sunk to their level. That's what she supposedly claims.
Yeah, that's what she feels that way at the end. I disagree. I get why she feels that way, but I also am like, no, you did what you had to survive. That's not you weren't actively. In fact, you were actively trying to stop their plan.
Mhm.
That we'll talk about that when we get to that
Yeah.
part. But yeah, so she manages to.
So Dr. M. Campa is largely cybernetic.
Yeah,
Despite the picture you just saw,
it's
a
a little
bit more extensive than that.
Yeah, it's. I think the clothes hide a lot of it.
Yeah. And she's like about to kill her, but fortunately, the Jedi show up
Yeah.
just in time.
Yeah. Vernestra shows up.
Fucking really cutting it close this time.
Well, when have they not in this series, and specifically in the High Republic?
Mm. If only their investigative instincts were a little bit stronger, maybe they would have helped more.
Yeah.
Not a diss to them, just an observation.
Yeah.
A sad one, but they do their best.
So yeah.
And so,
Oh, and Karzu was Quarren. That. Yeah.
I see.
That's
so
the
a
that's
little
the
bit
other fish people. The non-Mon Calamari fish people. So So yeah, they managed to fend off Mkampa, but she escapes,
Yes, she escapes,
which is
because-
very key because I'm hoping we see more of her because I kind of like her as a villain.
yeah. So
She's a great foil for Avon.
yeah, they
Uh,
escape, and there is a great. They're like, okay, here's the truth: the planet's probably going to be fucked for a while.
yeah. So like
Because of what?
because and at this point everybody's evacuating.
Yeah.
And as they're after they evacuate, like while they're flying to, because at this point Starlight Beacon's made it.
Yeah.
So they're like loading everybody onto ships to fly up to Starlight Beacon, and while on one of them, Honesty talks to Vern.
Yeah, it's not. It's either a little bit before that or during that.
Yeah,
And Honesty is like, hey,
it's okay.
it's fine. Oh no, because there are two of them. There's two conversations.
Oh, I was
Well-
thinking of the one later. Yeah,
So the first one is Honesty being like, hey, you're probably not going to hear this from anybody else,
but thank you.
but thank you.
Yeah,
The second one, which you're bringing
Yeah.
up, is the one where she goes over and she's like, hey, are you going to be fine with like
the loss of your
the loss
planet.
of your planet? And he's like, it hasn't really felt like home since Dad's been gone.
Yeah, and also like he kind of brings up that the other Delnans probably are okay with this too.
Yeah. They're like, we kind of knew this might happen.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't
you lived
enjoy
on a
that it happened.
like you lived on a volcano world. Like what? Like
They're like, we knew this might happen. We just didn't want it to be like today, but we understood.
yeah. So,
So they're not really upset about it.
the good news is no more ice skaters.
Yeah, I don't have to continue to ask questions about the environment and the ecology of this world, since it's all fucking lava now.
Yeah.
And so another conversation happens.
Yes. So Avon,
Avon is worried.
she is distraught about having helped Mkampa, at least in her point of view.
Yeah, and so
And Vern, and she admits everything to Vern. She's like, "Hey, I took Emery's crystal. Here's everything that happened when I got captured." And
And
Vern's
she's like-
just like, "You got to talk to Emery, not me." And also like, I don't think you did anything wrong.
she's like, one, that's Emery's crystal, not mine. Why are you talking to me about it? Two, you did what you had to.
Yeah.
Go talk to Emery. He'll help you sort this out.
And so she does, has a similar conversation, once again breaking down crying.
And
But Emery does what Emery does kind of best, but also it feels invasive when you
Yeah.
think about it a little bit. He does his empath thing.
yeah, and Avon
Avon notices because,
like, are you using the Force to make me feel better? And he's like, yeah. He
But only-
doesn't even
yeah,
lie.
he's just like a little, and she's like, please don't.
Don't. And he's
He-
like, look, I
I'm j-
don't think that the Jedi should only be the only ones to have access to these things.
Yeah, in fact, I knew you took my
He's
crystal.
like, I fucking knew the whole time. And I'm like, why are you telling her that? She already knows. You gave it to her.
I think the way they kind of, I think there was. They kind of imply
Gave
she.
her the broken
yeah,
lightsaber.
yeah.
He knows the crystal's in there.
Yeah,
He
I
knew
don't
the
know.
whole
I don't know.
time.
Oh man.
Because it's mentioned in the earlier book that we read.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would he be mad at you for that? He
Well,
knows the whole
I
time.
think it's more of how she used it is more of what she was worried about.
And he's like, I don't fucking blame you for that.
Yeah. He's like, I knew you took it, and I knew what you were gonna do. So like, and I knew I could trust you because I know you're gonna use it to better people's lives, not make more
Yeah.
weapons.
And so, of course, the rest of the stuff continues.
Unfortunately,
There is
so
moment.
there's a moment. So while she and Emery are just talking, Avon's mother shows up
Yeah.
because it turns out her mom was on Starlight at this time.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, you're okay. Thank goodness. I can't believe that you survived Dr. Mkampa and Karazu and I think she
And
mentions
Diva.
Diva, yeah.
Yeah.
And Diva." And then she walks away after like giving a brief hug and all that, and kind of being and going like, "Okay, you gotta talk to your friend, your Jedi friend. All right, I gotta go."
So as Emery and like Avon are kind of walking away,
They're like, "Wait," Avon's like, "Wait a minute, I didn't
tell her any of that.
Yeah, I didn't tell her any of that, and the only person who knows any of those names is well, actually, nobody knows those names because I told Vernestra the situation, but I didn't say the names of anybody because we were in a hurry.
And so, why does my mom know all the names of the Nihil I was with?
Like perfectly. We need to talk to my mom.
Yeah.
And then we don't resolve that.
Oh no! Actually, she asked Imri directly, "Hey, do you know who Dr. Mkampa is?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "No."
Yeah, that's how she knows that. Like nobody like. That's how she knows that only she can know.
Yeah. And so she's like, "Oh shit, that's not good."
So yeah, there's gonna be some Staros family drama.
Is left unresolved.
To think that Sana Staros came from this family.
This is a weird fucking
Fuck Avon's mom.
traitor.
Yeah, traitor. I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say technically Marchion already did that, but
Hey, to anyone.
Gira.
To anyone, a bit of advice. Maybe don't have romantic relations
With a terrorist?
with a terrorist. I don't care how hot they are.
Yeah, I don't care how much like an elf they look.
I don't. Me and you have had this discussion.
Because I've shown you. Have I shown you
Yes,
what
you have
he looks
shown me
like?
what he looks like.
He's a blue elf.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think that Vernestra is a bad master. However, I do wish that they had focused a little bit more on that relationship dynamic.
Yeah.
And I also don't really feel like, aside from calling the Jedi there, that honesty didn't do much.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's his home world, so they kind of needed him there.
It makes sense for him to be there.
Yeah.
Though, pretty good.
I'm kind of upset that we don't know what's going to happen with Gira.
Yeah.
I want that Staros family drama. Bring it.
Oh yeah, we also tried to like figure out how quickly she left Starlight Beacon.
Yeah, because we were driving when we were driving here. I was like, wait a minute, because she has to leave Starlight Beacon before. So hold on, let me pull up the timeline.
Yeah.
Let's pull up the timeline first and foremost.
What, did she like leave the next day?
Like, so let's see, because this takes place before both Mission to Disaster and the Fallen Star.
Yeah.
Because obviously it has to, because Starlight Beacon still exists.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Mission to Disaster. Here we go. Mission to Disaster is here. Midnight Horizon is down here. Let me share so that way they can see what we're looking at. Let's see. Is this the one? No. Come on. It's not letting me share the window with you guys. But I'd assume it has to be within the same week.
Yeah. Because, like, she gets off real quick.
Yeah.
And we also know that,
Here we go.
as far as I'm aware, Avon is not on Starlight Beacon.
And actually, I'm going to make it bigger, and I'll let it cover us up real quick
Yeah.
so that way they can really see the timeline. So, yeah, Mission Disaster's at the top of the current page where I said it. It's right here.
Yep.
And then Midnight Horizon, which we've read, is down here. And we've read Crash and Crew Do What They Do, and No Stone Unturned, because that was part of last week's.
So,
And then Fallen Star, we know is concurrent with Midnight. Midnight Horizon's ending is concurrent to Fallen Star.
yeah.
So it has to be within a week.
Yeah.
So we go a whole week, as far as we know, without, because we don't see any argument yet. As far as we know, Avon has not talked to her mother yet in a week about something that she suspected. Specifically that her mom might be in league with the Nihil.
Yeah, but at the same time, how do you go over and start that conversation?
Well, it helps that she has a Jedi by her side.
Yeah.
Because Emery also knows.
Yeah, Emery's like, what the fuck? Should
Because I was listening to the audiobook and I knew it was near the end. So I was like, oh, are they going to end it with the death of Emery and Avon? Is Gira going to kill her own daughter to hide this?
Goes over, I got a plan for you. Brought you into this world. I'm taking you out of it.
But no, it ends before any of that. It ends with it actually ends with very important, Vernestra getting recruited by Avar Kriss to go hunt Lorna D.
Yep.
Because they still believe Lorna D is the Eye.
Which we know is not the case.
Yeah, which we know is not the case. Which, funny enough, it's funny that the ending of the book loops into that because I also bought the physical copy of the Tempest Runner audio drama, which is about Lorna D.
Oh boy.
All right, so that's Mission to Disaster. Oh.
It was good.
Yeah, thankfully. So this is one of those where we can say nothing completely tragic happened.
Yeah.
Other than, Donna.
Well, Donna's gone, but its people are not.
Yeah, I guess the important part is people aren't dead.
Yeah.
The ice skaters are.
They're gone.
No more ice
But
skaters.
They confused me too much.
They can't exist. They don't make enough sense.
Yeah. When I get an answer as to whether or not.
You know what? I will put out a tweet just for you and see if I can tag Justina Ireland and ask. Maybe tag Pablo Hidalgo. Maybe he knows.
Yeah.
He knows how ice skaters work.
I mean, they might not be extinct. Maybe someone decided to put them with some Rathtars on a ship. That's just the funniest fucking thing.
Question is, which ones would survive? Which one would be eaten first? Would the ice skaters eat the Rathtars or the Rathtars eat the ice skaters?
I don't know. How big is a Rathtar?
Well, have you seen The Force Awakens? I know you didn't watch it with Andrew yet,
No,
but
we haven't got there yet.
oh, I gotta pull up a Rathtar for you, buddy.
I think a Savrip could take an ice skater.
Oh, here we go. That's the scale. Yeah, because Balatique.
I don't know.
I think the Rathtar might eat an ice skater.
Yeah, because it has tendrils.
Yeah, it's got the tendrils. You gotta watch out for those.
Yeah.
As was learned in Fallen Star. Almost didn't go well for some people.
Yep.
All right, so next week we're doing something a little different. We're looking at a magazine. We're mainly doing it for the short story. So we're jumping ahead in time.
Okay.
We're going to pre-Attack of the Clones, but post-Phantom Menace.
All right.
They published a story that's about Jango Fett and Zam Wesell.
Okay.
It is called The Wesell Run.
I'm not gonna laugh at it.
I think
punny name.
it's meant to be, yeah.
Very punny name.
So we'll read that, and I guess if you also want to read some of the articles, you can. It's up to you. I'll probably read some of them, and we can discuss the articles as well. But really, the main topic will be the short story because it's canon. It's mainly why I get Insider magazine still, is so I can get the short stories. I do like, though, that they have been republishing the short stories into collections now, because that makes it so much easier for somebody like me. Because do you know how hard it is to get really old magazines just for the short story?
I imagine extremely difficult.
It's almost impossible.
So extremely difficult.
So the fact that they do reprints is nice because they've been doing hardcover reprints where it's just the short stories, and that's been nice.
Oh.
But yeah, this will be our next one.
Okay.
Once again, no guest. Really, a guest isn't worth bringing in for just a short story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Want to try and bring them in for
for
something
the
a
big
little
stuff.
nicer
Yeah, the
than
big
that.
stuff. Yeah, which I think we're going to be on short stories for a while now. Let me check the schedule.
Hmm.
Unless something releases surprisingly out of nowhere, we should be sticking to the schedule for a minute.
Watch them release something. And
Now that I've said that,
just-
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna start the Starlight Go Together. We're gonna start the Starlight short story collection, which is about Starlight Beacon, and is gonna have Gal Tarpfin, and also the boss of Starlight, the one that I was talking about. It's gonna have not Master Maru, although he's important. I think he appears a little bit in it, but
well, it's either so far Geos, Chris, or
oh, sorry, this one isn't gonna have them yet. Sorry, the first short story is actually gonna have our favorite couple, the Adrians.
The Adrians, they're back.
Yeah, Joss and
Oh, the best boy.
yeah, it's got Buryaga for a little bit. Yeah, Best Boy Buryaga, Wookiee Jedi. But yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna do some short stories for a bit. Yeah, and then we'll do volume 1 of the mainline comic,
All right.
which that's gonna be where we bring Scotty in to actually discuss that, because that's gonna be our way of getting him into the High Republic. Well, I mean, at the very least, you'll have read some of the material, whether you like it or not. That at the end of the day, you've at least tried it, and that's what matters.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So that is the end of another episode. So thank you guys for watching. If you are on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That's youtube.com/Escape Reality Films. If you are on Twitch watching us, it is twitch.tv/CJ Star Wars 94. And you can be sure to subscribe or follow there. I'd like to thank Mopcast Network and Gamers and Geeks for providing the space. You can watch Mopcast Network podcasts at youtube.com/Mopcast Network, where we've got Cult Movie Cantina, which is starting our new season coming up, where we will be reviewing Xanadu as our first. Watching tomorrow. And that will be our first movie for the new season. And we are doing My Star Wars Life as well, just talking about Star Wars for now until Obi-Wan comes out. Then it's going to. I think we're doing. We're going to talk the trailer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the one currently out, we talk about the Star Wars Hotel, Star Wars Eclipse, and what's going on there, which we've discussed, and and the anniversary of the finale for Rebels. And then this upcoming episode, it's going to be the Kenobi trailer and whatever else happens to be on our minds. And then eventually we're going to do kind of an Obi-Wan thing once Obi-Wan comes out.
5 years. That's all I've got.
5 years, yep, 5 years. And then what else am I? You can also check them out on Spotify or or Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. If you're more of a listener and less of a viewer, although I assume if you're watching us, then you like to watch your podcast content.
Or you could be like me and be a weirdo and then just go and watch it, but leave it on and not pay any attention to it.
Yeah, so you're more of like you're still a listener. You just turn it on so that way, because in our case we only do the video. But if you're in the Mobile, Alabama area, you can also come check out Gamers and Geeks. As I've said in previous episodes, it's a gaming shop. You can get your Magic the Gathering, your Pokemon, your D&D. They also have an arcade in the back where you can pay $10 for the day, basically play any arcade games that we have back here as a free play. And there's also the I forget. All of a sudden, I just blanked on the name, but the video game part of the shop. The grid is or engage, which you can do a month. I think they do a monthly thing where you basically are a club member. I've wanted to do it for a while just to do the VR stuff because they've got the VR machine, you got your PlayStation and Xbox, and even a PC. So if you want to do some PC gaming and you don't got quite the rig that you need for your games, that's one way to do it. What else am I missing? I've done the two. Oh, Patreon. Check out our Patreon if you really want to help out. That really shows us some support. That's how we eventually get this to be more full-time. And that's patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. First tier will get you access to the Discord where you can come hang out with us. Yep. And second tier gets you a view at the YouTube content a week before it's uploaded. Well, a week before it goes live. Because I upload that stuff way ahead. Because obviously I have to upload it for you guys to watch it a week ahead. Yeah. All right. And so that's it. We'll see you guys next time with a short story about Zam and Django.
Have a good one.